On Monday, Bosket arrived at the factory with a strange sense of foreboding. Throwing down his bag and coat, he shared obligatory gruff greetings with his similarly sleepy co-workers. This time of a morning, none was in any mood to chat. Instead, gulping from a huge mug of cocoa, Alf proceeded to his workroom, polished some tools, and dragged his tired body to the forecourt, where he began to operate a large drill. At some point, above the din of factory activity, he was aware of a repeated jolly sound behind him. Turning, he took a moment or two to recognise the smiling face.
"Morning, Mr. Bosket. Nice to see you here."
"Well, where else would I be of a Monday morning?" he asked, powering off his drill.
"Aye, that's a good un, is that, Mr. Bosket? Yes, very funny."
The pair stood awkwardly for a few moments, before Bosket threw a glance at the beginner's staff attire.
"So it's your first day then, eh?"
"Yes, that's right. Day one, Mr. Bosket, and I'm raring to go.
I can't wait to get stuck into factory work. I'm really looking forward to learning ropes."
"I see." Bosket stifled a chuckle. "Let's see if he's still saying that by 5 o'clock, he laughed inwardly. "Well, has his lordship given you your orders for day then? Eh? What you on? Machines? Looms? Boiler work?"
Well...
An embarrassed look washed over Fred's face.
"It's early days yet, Mr. Bosket. I can't be playing with big boys' toys until I get to grips with things. So no, I'll not be doing anything too... involved."
Bosket's baying smile burrowed into him. You could almost taste the anticipation from his mocking look.
"So they've set me to sweeping, they have. I'm to be general janitor. Yes, I'm off to get me brush now, Mr. Bosket. Then it's all systems go."
"Sweeping, eh?" By now, Bosket was no longer really bothering to try to hide his amusement. Sweeping. It was a far cry from meeting and greeting the great and good at the door of his posh shop, that was for sure. With a cocky snigger, he nodded to the cupboard and made sure that the other workers all around could hear.
"Well, go on then, lad, up to it. Go fetch your brush, and get on with your sweeping."
And Bosket watched him retrieve the brush, and continued watching as he commenced his duties, relishing the janitor's every stroke. When finally he returned to his own labours, he did so with a delicious thrill drilling through his veins. By lunchtime, Bosket felt that he had earned a pint. Supping his drink, he shared casual hellos with other working men, whom he knew from roundabouts, and puffed placidly on his pipe, sipping at his beer. An air of uncomplicated conviviality pervaded the small, smoky pub. Resting back against the bar, he felt himself lulled into a pleasing, sleepy state, until he almost felt his tired back sink into the wooden panel like a bed. Only a few more hours now, and he would be home, to flop into a real bed and dream away the whole evening. With a feeling of lazy joy, he felt he might snooze 100 years, contented and relaxed.
"Hey up, Mr. Bosket. Fancy seeing you here."
Bosket jerked awake to see the cheerful face of Cookins beaming at him.
"Fancy that, eh, Mr. Bosket? Fancy that. What you doing here?"
What do you think I'm doing? What's it look like? So this is where you pop for your pint of a lunchtime, is it? And I just happened to bob in to see what it was like. Now I know it's your watering hole, I shall be coming more often from now on.
How's about that, eh, Mr. Bosket?"
And he clinked his pint pot against Bosket's.
"Let's make it a regular thing, shall we? Every day. No, don't worry, I shall pay me way. I shan't be expecting you to fork out for every pint. I'll buy me fair share, Mr. Bosket. Never let it be said that I should encroach on your generosity."
With a hearty glug of beer, a delighted Cookins proposed a toast.
"To me and thee, Mr. Bosket, workmates and boozing buddies."
Bosket smiled lopsidedly, draining his glass.
"Well, I best be off. Nay, lad, let me get you another. Bill, I say, Bill, pop another pint in his pot, would there? Many thanks, mate."
The landlord all but bounded over, only too happy to oblige. Bosket watched as the pair cracked jokes, slapped each other's backs, and generally engaged like lifelong pals. In contrast to his bonhomie with Cookins, Bill barely threw a glance at Bosket, whose attempts at conversation were curtailed by the countervailing banter of the newfound friends.
"Hey, that's a good 'un, is that, Bill? That's a good 'un," chuckled Cookins at some coarsely uttered joke.
Bill banged down the pint without even looking at Bosket, and insisted Cookins accept a refill free of charge. In taking the drink, Bosket noticed ruefully that his would-be benefactor forgot entirely about the drink he had promised to pay for, and it was left for Bosket to stump up. "Come on, pal, hand it over," the landlord ordered, rolling a complimentary cigarette for Cookins. "I'm not running a charity here, son. You want a drink, you can bloody well pay for it." Yes, I'm trying to find money." He fiddled for loose change, finding only halfpennies. "Those what want to sup have to stump," insisted Bill, not resting until Bosket had handed over every scrap of change. "That's me dinner up the spout for tonight, then," he sighed, casting Cookins an angry glance. But the other man was already ensconced in another round of ribald repartee, entertaining a host of heavy-set labourers. How they all rocked with laughter as he cracked the jokes, recounted comical scenarios, and shared impressions of numerous characters in different accents. Clearly his years on the shop door had provided him with a bulging stock of eccentrics to impersonate, and before long his mimicry brought half the pub to its knees with laughter. Bosket swished the beer in his glass, and as the raucous guffaws reverberated round his ears, he creased his face with a half-hearted smile, trying to join in. Soon the satire seemed to stretch into the realms of factory life, even though Cookins had only just entered that particular realm of employment. But Bosket had to admit that his apery was accurate, as he reeled off technical terms and phrases, at one point taking off an imaginary pompous owner, the next a clumsy hired hand. But as the performance continued, Bosket's expression darkened.
"I'm a senior machine technician, I am," the self-appointed comic croaked, assuming the stance of one operating a drill, and stumbling about as if losing control of it. Everyone erupted into deluges of laughter, as Bosket recognized the target of the jest as none other than himself. At one point, the landlord play-punched him on the shoulder, while another man, an old friend of Bosket's who worked in a nearby mill, cried, "He's got you to a T, Alf. All of your stupid expressions and silly words." Bosket all but hid his face, but on looking up, noticed one of the barmaids, the youngest with the biggest bosom, for whom he had always carried a torch, was giggling away and staring at him in unbridled mirth. Bosket brought his pint-pot to the bar with a loud clang, making for the exit. Opening the door, he could see that all remained bound up in the impromptu routine, the laughter, if anything, rising in volume. He shut the door and stumbled sullenly into the drizzly street. No one noticed he had left.